Question 16. Why do you need to be concerned about our mail security? Answer. It seems like we can't go more than a few days anymore without hearing about a major breach, which on the surface would make it seem that more people and places are being hacked than ever before, which to be honest is true. However, it also shows that detection and reporting of attacks is improving per requirements of both government entities and insurance companies. As a result, the public and security professionals are both better informed as to what they can do to help protect them. Question 17. What is the difference between an NHIDS host intrusion detection system and a NHIDS network intrusion detection system? Answer. Both acronyms are intrusion detection systems, however the first is a host intrusion detection system whereas the second is a network intrusion detection system. An NHIDS runs as a background utility in the same as an antivirus program for instance, while a network intrusion detection system sniffs packets as they go across the network looking for things that aren't quite ordinary. Both systems have two basic variants, signature-based and anomaly-based. Question 18. List the components used in SSL. Answer. Secure Sockets Layer Protocol or SSL is used to make secure connection between client and computers. Below are the component used in SSL. SSL Recorded Protocol, Handshake Protocol, Change Cipher Spec, Encryption Algorithms. Question 19. How to judge if a remote server is running EAS or Apache? Answer. Error messages oftentimes give away what the server is running, and many times if the website administrator has not set up custom error pages for every site, it can give it away as simply as just entering a known bad address. Other times, just using Telnet can be enough to see how it responds. Question 20. Why would you want to use SSH from a Windows PC? Answer. SSH TCP port 22 is a secure connection used on many different systems and dedicated appliances. Routers, switches, SFTP servers and unsecure programs being tunneled through this port all can be used to help harden a connection against eavesdropping. Despite the fact that most times when you hear about somebody SSHing into a box, it involves Linux. The SSH protocol itself is actually implemented on a wide variety of systems though not by default on most Windows systems. Programs like Putty. Question 21. What do you think of social networking sites such as Facebook and LinkedIn in the context of data security? Answer. This is a doozy, and there are an enormous number of opinions for this question. Many think they are the worst thing that ever happened to the world, while others praise their existence. In the realm of security, they can be the source of extreme data leaks if handled in their default configurations. It is possible to lock down permissions on social networking sites, but in some cases this isn't enough due to the fact that the backend is not sufficiently secured. Question 22. What's the difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption? Answer. To boil down an extremely complicated topic into a few short words, symmetric encryption uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt, while asymmetric uses different keys for encryption and decryption. Symmetric is usually much faster but is difficult to implement most times due to the fact that you would have to transfer the key over an unencrypted channel. Therefore, many times an asymmetric connection will be established first, then send creates the symmetric connection. Question 23. What is port scanning? Answer. Ports are the point from where information goes in and out of any system. Scanning of the ports to find out any loopholes in the system are known as port scanning. There can be some weak points in the system to which hackers can attack and get the critical information. These points should be identified and prevented from any misuse. Question 24. List the parameters that define an SSL session state. Answer. The parameters that define an SSL session state are session identifier, peer certificate, compression method, cipher spec, master secret is resembled. Question 25. Explain URL manipulation. Answer. URL manipulation is a type of attack in which hackers manipulate the website URL to get the critical information. The information is passed in the parameters in the query string via HTTP GET method between client and server. Hackers can alter the information between these parameters and get the authentication on the servers and steal the critical data. Question 26. What is meant by recipient resolution, routing resolution and content conversion for emails? Answer. Recipient resolution. The email address of the recipient is resolved to decide whether the recipient has got a mailbox in the exchange organization or an external email address. Routing resolution. Once the information regarding the recipient is resolved, the ultimate destination for the mail is routed and the next hops are determined. Content conversion. Once the mail has reached its determined address, the SMTP is converted into readable format like HTML, rich text format or plain text. Question 27. What is data protection in transit versus data protection at rest? Answer. When data is protected while it is just sitting there in its database or on its hard drive, it can be considered at rest. On the other hand, while it is going from server to client, it is in transit. Many servers do one or the other protected SQL databases, VPN connections, etc. However, there are not many that do both, primarily because of the extra drain on resources. It is still a good practice to do both, however, even if it does take a bit longer. Question 28. Why does ingest need to cease prior to export starting? Answer. Export is essentially a snapshot of your archive. If the contents are constantly being added to after the export begins, there would need to be another differential export after the first export completes in order to get all the new email that was archived since the export began. This would become a loop as new data is continually added, so the best solution is to freeze the contents of the archive during export. This also means that selective purge and retention purge will be suspended. Question 29. How do you protect your home wireless access point? Answer. There are a lot of different ways to protect a wireless access point. Using WPA2, not broadcasting the SSID, and using MAC address filtering are the most popular among them. There are many other options, but in a typical home environment, those three are the biggest. By now you have seen more than a fair amount of troubles. You have got a toolkit of regularly used programs, a standard suite of protection utilities. You are comfortable with cleanups. Question 30. What are the most important steps you would recommend for securing a new web server? Answer. Web server security. Update/patch the web server software. Minimize the server functionality. Disable extra modules. Delete default data/scripts. Increase logging verboseness. Update permissions/ownership of files. Web application security. Make sure input validation is enforced within the code. Security QA testing.